Welcome back. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari surprised everyone recently when he told a gathering of Nigerians in France that the government has opened negotiations with members of the Islamist Boko Haram sect to secure the release of the over 200 schoolgirls kidnapped in Chibok, Borno State, northeast Nigeria, back in April last year. Now, the girls, about 219 of them, have been in captivity ever since. This is despite international efforts to rescue them. President Buhari told the gathering under the auspices of the Nigerians in the diaspora organization NIDO that his administration was worried that the girls have been in captivity for this long and that he was doing everything to secure their release from Boko Haram. He said the government had to first establish genuine members of the sect so that it would not make the mistake of engaging the wrong persons, as happened with the previous government in the country, adding that one of the conditions given by the group was to release one of its members who had been strategic in developing improvised explosives devices, a demand, of course, the president said his government would not accept. Now, Buhari then said the Boko Haram should first bring all the girls as proof that they're all alive and well before any negotiation would take place, and that he would allow the sect members now to come back to Nigeria or be absolved into their communities. As expected, the issue has been generating reactions across the country. We sounded out a security expert on the issue, and this is what he told us.
This is the third government that is being seriously confronted with the issue of Boko Haram. The issue of Boko Haram, as we all know, dates back to even the government of Obasanjo. It's gone through Jonathan, and now it's in the hands of President Buhari. And Buhari has probably exposed us to the fact that the Nigerian military is capable of attending to this issue. First, he started with re-equipping the army and giving them the opportunity to actually express themselves. Though, of course, the government of Jonathan started that before it left, but now we can see clearly that we are capable. But then I want to bring myself to believe that tactically, the girls are not within the ambit of the Nigerian military. And if they are not, then it is obviously fair that the issue of negotiation should be taken seriously. But then, negotiation, on the other hand, is something we should understand that it does not have to dance to the tune of only one person. We are talking about the Boko Haram wanting their bomb maker and so on to be released. And we know very well that when you're dealing with a faceless organization, it is difficult to trust them. What will happen if you release this man and then he goes back to the trenches, continues doing the improvised explosive devices for them, and then at the end of the day, we still do not have the girls. But the truth of the matter is the government has, when it comes to negotiation, I want to bring myself to believe that the experts involved in negotiation will be involved, and the Nigerian government does not necessarily have to bend to only the release of one person for the Chibok girls. I believe there are other Boko Haram suspects that are there that require that they could actually trade in for. Some people may say, oh, it will expose us to weakness, but I will tell you that even America at a certain time had to release somebody from Guantanamo Bay to be able to save some of its soldiers who were held captive for so many years. So we wouldn't be the first to do it. Nigerian government won't be the first to do it, and it will not expose them to any form of weakness. It will only go further to show how much we care about our citizens. And the girls deserve everything. They deserve everything. This is the third government.
Now, joining me to discuss more on this is Libros Oshoma, a lawyer and a political analyst. Libros, thank you very much for coming on the program. Let me start by asking you, is it a surprise at all that the government has decided to open negotiations with Boko Haram?
No, I'm not surprised. I would say I had envisaged these as an alternative, because like you said in your intro, even the international community had, at some point, come in to assist. And since it's almost impossible,
they just couldn't find the girls.
That we can't find them. The international community couldn't even find them. The government had put everything, every machinery in place to ensure that these girls are rescued. Even the current effort of the Nigerian military also, and we had seen the Nigerian military being able to rescue, so many other
quite a number of women
and children that have been in captivity. Now it is obvious that, look, these girls are not, within the vicinity.
That's the Chibok girls.
Yes, the Chibok girls are not within the vicinity. If you've combed everywhere, the only alternative that is remaining is, okay, bring these girls to us, and then we would, give you something in return.
And of course, the president did say that look, the Boko Haram guys should just bring these girls, show the girls as a proof that they are still alive and well.
Exactly. And, because it is the girls are known anyway. The names of these girls are known by almost everybody. They've been on the media. The photographs of these girls also have been in the media, and so you just can't present anybody and say these are the girls. And then also there's been this story that maybe not all the girls are still alive, and some might even be pregnant. And so I like the move that the government is taking. We want to be sure that these girls, all of them, are alive before we now begin to say, okay, yes, how do we go from here? For me, anything that can rescue those girls, it's a step in the right direction. Since the government had used the stick approach, it has not yielded the desired results in as far as rescuing the girls. Now I think it's a better alternative to use the carrot approach.
Now, let me ask, because the president did say something that he said his government, of course, has just refused flatly to accept that, because Boko Haram is asking that one of its top commanders who specializes in making improvised explosive devices be released to them in exchange for the girls. I mean, if these guys are willing to exchange 219 girls, that's a number that is missing. Let's just assume that all these girls are well and intact and Boko Haram was keeping all of them. Now, for them to decide to exchange 219 girls for this commander, then that commander must be more than strategic to them.
Yes, and that's why also the government is telling, the Boko Haram that, look, we can't just release this your strategic person until also our children that are also strategic to us, we are certain that they are alive and they are all okay. And so for me, another thing that came to my mind was, if Boko Haram was truly, ready to lay down arms, then they would not be asking for the release of that strategic commander.
Exactly.
And that also will go a long way in informing the government on how to actually deal with this crisis. They might be ready to release, these girls, but in the same vein, it is not clear that they are truly ready to lay down arms in the near future. So that also will inform how the government will strategize to actually deal with it.
Because, I mean, imagine if this commander was released, and let's just assume we get these girls, and then Boko Haram still goes back and gets stronger, they could as well come back to kidnap more people.
Yes, but I with the approach that the government had taken and the renewed vigor with the Nigerian military, I don't think, if this negotiation sail through, I don't think the government will just go to sleep. Because now that Boko Haram is demanding for the release of one of their members that is so strategic, I don't expect, even in negotiations, you would not expect the government to just release that person.
That's true.
And then and go to sleep. There might, even in releasing him, there might still be some what you would call security monitoring, around that person. And in some cases, the Boko Haram members might even, take hold of that person and eventually eliminate him, because if they find out that he cannot perform those things that he used to do, because these are security issues. It will not be that simple for the government to release a man you already know is strategic and then leave him to go back to his old ways.
Because whether we like it or not, I mean, there's been a reduction in the number of bombings in the country in recent times.
Apart from that, the reduction in the number of bombing and then the enlightenment that is going on, and then the super, because before now, you hear that the Nigerian military are ill-equipped to face these militants, but not the terrorists. But now you find out that even the morale is being boosted by the day, and then the trainings also, I can't say that there's a change in strategy. So to that extent, it is not just as it used to be, where the Boko Haram members come, take territories, and go back to wherever they came from. And then there was this cry about Sambisa Forest, Sambisa Forest, Sambisa Forest. And recently, not too long ago, as you are aware, the military said they've combed the length and breadth of Sambisa Forest, and these girls are nowhere to be found. And the Boko Haram members are nowhere to be found near Sambisa Forest, which implies also that it is difficult for them to regroup in one place now. And so that is why when they cannot regroup, it is also difficult for them to carry out these bombings, the way they used to do. And I truly believe that they would, if the girls are all still together, some of these members will...
It definitely will be difficult to keep 219 girls together.
It's not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible. So if they were, I believe they would have opted for these negotiations long ago. But because it is impossible to produce all of them at once, and then they would want to use these tactics of, okay, release this member to us, and then we'll release some of the girls. But it's good. I like the approach that the government is taking.
But how difficult do you think it's going to be for the government to, carry out this negotiation, considering what we saw in the past? And, Buhari did raise the concern. I mean, the president now raised that concern that, the government needed to be sure it was talking with the right people.
But I also believe, I want to also believe that this basically is, it might be a strategy by the government it might be a dummy by the government to give these members the impression that, look, we are truly ready to deal with you. We're ready to deal. And because while government is talking about negotiation, we've not heard that there's ceasefire on the part of government. Day in, day out, you hear that the military, it's, reining in some of these members, trying to, not too long ago also, we heard that some members that supplies them food and drugs were captured. Government day in, day out is consistently taking steps to ensure that, they lock out these members, at the same time giving them the impression that, look, we are ready to negotiate. And so that might, and in military strategy, when you weaken your opponent to a position and then you throw in negotiation, it might also help in dividing the ranks of the members, because some of them who would feel that their ranks have been weakened, their strength have been weakened, will want to opt for negotiation. And look, since we're already dying and soft landing is being extended to us, why don't we take it instead of remaining here to die in droves? And so I believe it's a strategy that government is employing, because we've not heard our government, has backed down on the fight against terrorism. Because ordinarily you expect that now that they're talking about negotiation, there would have been ceasefire, government would have relaxed its hunt for these people. Now, instead, government is renewing its efforts and at the same time talking about negotiation. These, two don't go together. I truly believe it's a strategy that they are.
Let me just ask you one final question. Do you honestly think that we would eventually find these 219 girls well, alive, complete?
I doubt. Even if we will find them, we will not find all of them. I will not want to. It's a sad reality. It's a sad reality that we must face. I will not want to deceive myself, believing that they are still out somewhere. Remember also, some of the girls that were rescued did say that, some of the girls had been used, some of the girls that were used for these indiscriminate bombings and the rest. So if that story is true, then it will be difficult for you to find married off and so it will be difficult. It's a reality we had to face, that some of them might not be alive as we talk now, but it is better for us to even know the numbers that are alive and bring back those that are alive, and then see other ones as casualty, and that would teach us a lesson that issues like this, there's need for us to address it timelessly, rather than wait for it to get to the level that it has gotten to now. All right,
Liberal Soshoma, just continue to stay with us, because we're still going to come back to you. Still coming up on the program, we will be looking at what exactly is happening actually with the President of the Nigerian Senate. Stay with us, don't go away. Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on DEJI360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.